All right, so welcome everybody. For today, we have prepared kind of like a neat trick on how we can link AutoCAD and Excel. There are many people out there who are always trying to get information or manage information from Excel tables, and you can do that easily in AutoCAD. Either for filling up information tables or getting information from entities in AutoCAD as well, right? So basically, this will be a very short webinar showing you basically several ways of doing data extraction and the links in AutoCAD. And in this case, this is going to comprise two parts. The first one will be about linking AutoCAD tables with Excel data. And the second part will be about extracting the properties from entities, those table, and exporting that table to Excel. All right. So for the first part, let's suppose we have some information in Excel. All right. Right now, what I have here is several tables with some information. Try to keep it real simple. This is just an example of creating some tests, obtaining a final GPA or something for several students. And we can even use formulas in here. And so basically, these three tables are the same, right? Just so you know, we are gonna take this one, for example, give it a format, right? This other one, I'm gonna give it another format, right? And we're gonna take a look at how we can link this information from Excel into AutoCAD, all right? So when we're working in AutoCAD, under the Insert tab, we will find the Data panel, right? From the Data panel is where we'll manage all the information that's related to Excel, and we can create the links for making use of them on the tables, all right? So the first thing that you want to do is, the linking and extraction panel, so the first thing you want to do is set up the link that is telling AutoCAD how to read into the Excel table, and then you're gonna tell the software how you want to use that data, right? So let's create the link first. We're gonna start by hitting that link. And here we'll see all the Excel links that we can create. We can create one link per one sheet of Excel, right? So let's create a new link. I'm going to give it a name. For example, first grades, right? We're going to point this to our Excel file. This one is going to be Excel test. Same as your external references, if you guys are familiar with those. Excel AutoCAD is going to link this external data source as a reference. So we need to tell the software this is going to be a relative path, this is going to be a full path, or if we are going to keep those under the same roof, well, we can select no path. In this case, I prefer to keep everything in the same location always, so I'm going to select full path, and we can select where we're going to get our data. For example, I'm going to take the grades for my first book, grades. Okay, I can link an entire sheet if I want to, or I can link a range. Say you only want you don't want the final grade. You only want from students to grade 3 and from book to Chewy. So I can specify I want this table to go from A1 to A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So in this case, I can take only the information I want. In this case, I want all the information on the data sheet. So I'm going to go back to link entire sheet. I'm going to hit on this little button here. This one's kind of important. And I'm going to set different ways of bringing my contents. Okay, so I can keep the same format as Excel. I can keep the formulas as well. All right, so there's always going to be a link between the information that I get on my table and the Excel data. But I can choose where I want to calculate this information. All right, so for this first table, I'm going to select the first option, keep data and formulas. All right, I hit OK. I'm going to close my data link. And now when I insert a table in AutoCAD, I will have the option of bringing in the information from the data link. So I can click here from data link. I'm going to select the link that I just created. And AutoCAD is going to read into that information, keeping the format from Excel and keeping the formulas that I select. Right? I'm going to hit an insertion point around here. Just going to make sure that the screen refreshes. There we go. And you see that all that information is brought into my table. All right. If I click on the table and I unlock my cells, for example, I can change this information right here. I can relink the information from my table into Excel as well. All right. Say I want to change grade for Lei. Turns out she didn't get a 2 here. She got a 3. So I can go into my table. I can hit unlocked. I can change this grade. It is supposed to be 3. Right? And because of how I broke the format, the final grade is being calculated directly in AutoCAD. You can even go into the cell, double click on it, and you will see the formula right there, as if you were working on Excel, right? I'm going to save my drawing, give it a name, Star Wars grades, you know. And because I made a change in this table, there's a link between the information from here into Excel as well, right? Remember, Leia had a 2 on grade 2. So what I can tell the software is I want to upload the data into Excel. So I'm going to hit upload to source. I'm going to select this table right here. And I'm going to get this little message. Data links has changed. Any tables using this data may need to be updated. Every time there's a difference between the two, you're going to get this message. So AutoCAD can tell there was a difference. And if we take a look at my file, Excel test, let me take a look at my grades. You see that the grade was changed. So there's always going to be an exchange of information between the two, right? Same if I wanted to modify something from Excel. Let's say Chewy didn't do that good on the final grade. He got a 4. So I'm going to change the grade here. I'm going to save my Excel table. I'm going to close here. And AutoCAD is going to recognize if there was a change. It's going to give me the message as well. The link has changed. Any tables using this link may need to be updated. So I can click Update Tables, or I can download the information from the source, all right? So works exactly in the same way. I can download for this table right here. Take a look at choose grade. Now this is updated 2 of 4. right? Now, you can create as many data links as you want. You can format them in different ways as well. We're going to create another new data link. This one are going to be the second grades. I'm going to choose my file again, but I'm going to select this from the grades 2. All right. So these ones are from the sequels, and in this case, I'm gonna convert data formats to Excel and solve the formula to text, sorry, and solve the formulas in Excel. All right. I can choose if I wanna start with the Excel formatting, but keeping the format that I changed in AutoCAD, or I can tell the software I always want to update the format if there's a change in Excel. Or I can just clear this option and bring it as a regular table, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear the Excel formatting. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit OK there, and I'm going to insert my table now. Insert table. I'm going to bring in from another data link. See how now the grades appear here under the link. I'm going to hit second grades, and you see that now I'm using my regular table format as per my standard, if that makes sense. I'm going to insert this one here, and there we go. Now all I'm doing is just reading the information from Excel, but keeping the format from my AutoCAD table, right? All the links, all the data, sending the data, bringing in the data, it's going to work exactly in the same way, right? So if I update some grade from there, say Cal did good on grade 1, I'm going to unlock grade 1. I'm going to change this to a 4. Okay. Now, this is some information that I updated to the table so I can upload to source, right? But I also want you guys to notice that the format that I'm applying here is basically the one in AutoCAD, okay? So I'm gonna change this format as however I want to, and all I'm gonna keep between those two is just the information, the data, right? So I'm gonna upload this to source. There we go. And see how now the final grade it's updated automatically because in Excel that data was updated, right? So what happened here is the 4 was sent to Excel, right? Let's change here. The final grade was recalculated in Excel, and when it hit update the data link down here, the final grade was changed on the table, okay? So there's always an exchange of information between all the tables at all times. Alrighty. So that was linking AutoCAD tables with our Excel data. And now let's take a look at another way of linking information with Excel. We're gonna extract the properties from our entities and we're gonna place those in a table, right? So this is something that might be a little more advanced in the sense that you might want to include this information for programming, or maybe if you're creating drawings with intelligence, with metadata in the properties of your parts, or the lines of the blocks, all of that, you can bring that information. So I'm gonna open a drawing here. Give it a sec for the screen to refresh. And let's see. There we go. Right, sorry it's a little slow, but I'll try to keep up here. Okay, so assuming you know all the entities in AutoCAD basically have this bunch of properties, right? And the properties might be like similar for some of them. Some of them might be entirely different. For example, for a text, you can have properties as your style, your height, your justification. For a line, you might have properties as your starting point, ending point, those kind of things. Okay, so if you want to extract the information of those properties and place that information into a table, you can use your linking and extraction in AutoCAD as well with your extract data tool. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to create a link that's going to bring up all that information, and it's going to keep all that information in an external file. Okay. So we're going to create a new data extraction. This data extraction is going to be saved in a DXEX file. So we're going to save this one in data extraction 1, for example. And you can select which drawings you want to get information from, all right? And you can even select which objects you want to get information from as well, right? For example, let's say you only want to get information from just the lines, or just this ATM block, or just the stairs. You can select that as well. In this case, we're going to include basically everything, so you can take a look at how it seems. Okay. AutoCAD is going to read into every object type that you can find there. It's going to let you decide which objects you want to get information from. Can you give me 1 sec? Sorry about that, just near some water. Right, so AutoCAD's gonna read into all the objects that are placed in your model, even on your layouts as well. And it's gonna let you select what you wanna bring. Okay, so for example, I can display only the blocks, right? Or I can select all the object types, but I can select blocks that only include attributes, right? I can even just select no blocks. For example, I'm going to clear every single option that says block. I'm just going to bring information from the arcs, the lines, the polylines, and the texts. Okay. Now, this window is going to be the most, well, not complex, but the one that requires the most work. From here, you will be able to select everything that you need from every category available in AutoCAD, right? So if you want to bring in properties from that are geometry related, okay, So you want to bring in information on the angle, the area, the any point in X, any point in Y, basically everything you need that's basically geometry related, right? You can select that from here. Suppose I'm going to bring in the length for the lines, right? I'm going to bring in the radius for the arcs. And I'm going to bring in, yeah, I think that should do. From the general table, for example, I'm going to bring in the layer. Might be a good property to bring in, interesting one. And for the texts, I'm going to bring in the height, right? And the value, of course. That's a good one. So those are all the properties that I'm going to bring in from all these categories. You do want to select the category or have to select here and check the properties that you want to bring in. It's not like this is just going to filter out or hide the properties, but they're selected. That's not how it works. You want to select the category and you want to select the properties that you want to bring. All right. So general, geometry, and tech, that seems right. And this is the table that you're gonna get. You're gonna get all the information from all your objects, all your properties, basically everything that you need. You can rearrange these rows however you want to. You can combine rows if you like. For example, I have 26 lines that are part of layered doors that are 3 feet long, right? If I don't want to, I can clear this option and I'm gonna get just one of those lines, okay? So now you might start to realize what may be the power of getting this type of information, right? You can sort the data how you want to. You can sort columns in the order that you want to. For example, I can rearrange this by name first in a descending order. Then I can rearrange this by the value in a descending order as well, right? And that way, I'm going to get this organized first by text, 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 and probably should have placed this as ascending, right? Makes more sense. There we go. Right, so on my first row, we have arc, then lines, 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 and polylines, and then text. And they're just going to be organized A to C. So approved, accent, blah, 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 all the text that I'm going to get there, right? I can tell the software that I want to insert the data in a table in my file. And here's what you can, or how you can export to another file, including an Excel table, right? So from here, I'm going to select, you know what? I want to send this information to my webinars, AutoCAD Excel, data extraction for November the 7th. Go and hit next. If you want to set table style, if you want to do something different for your table, you can do this here as well. Child for name, table, blah, 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 column heads, names, there we go. And that's it. I'm going to insert my table here. Of course, this is going to have the style for your original table. So if needed, you can go ahead and scale that. All right. And if you take a look at my files here, I'm going to get my extraction table, right? So I can create parts list, I can create bill of materials, I can create all of those kind of things from AutoCAD as well, right? Now, one thing that might be very useful for people would be including information on attributes on a block, right? So for example, right here, I have a block that's prepared, has a couple attributes. I'm gonna name this attribute, I don't know, um, title one. I don't feel a lot of imaginative today. And rating one, something like this, right? And I'm gonna start another block here with another title, 2, and rating 2. Right, so these are just attributes, right? We can modify those. We give a proper name, for example, resistor 1, rating 1, I don't know, 12 volts. For this one, resistor 2, rating 24 volts, whatever, right? And I can take the information from these ones as well. Okay, so I'm gonna extract the data. I'm gonna create a new data extraction, or I can even edit the data extraction that I already have, right? For example, if I choose to edit an existing one, I can go into my folder, webinar, so look at Excel, and select that extraction one. There we go. Objects, blah, blah, blah. There we go. And you see that all that I have defined there, it's still going to be there. I have arcs, I have lines, polylines, basically, you name it. Okay? In this case, let's suppose I want to change this data to blocks only, and I only want the blocks that have attributes. Okay? So I'm going to select this block, which is basically called ATT block. And for my block, I'm gonna get the attribute 1 and the attribute 2. Block unit, there we go, we don't need anything else. I also want to get the X position and Y position. There we go. Probably the title would be a good idea as well, right? No, actually this is for the drawing, so this isn't right. Position 1 and block units. Yeah, I think those are right. Attributes. Probably layer. I don't need that. So this is basically the table that I'm gonna get. The name of the block, attribute 1, attribute 2, right? I'm gonna hit OK. I'm gonna insert the data into the table, and I'm gonna export the information to that file as well. Oh, sorry, was muted. So you see that the table was updated, the existing table was updated, although it can be inserted again, right? And the data link has changed, okay? So there's always gonna be an update between my Excel table and the AutoCAD table. All right, so I guess that's what I wanted to show you guys today. I don't know if we got any questions.